Cardi B, she went live on Instagram with Uncle Bernie Sanders. They talked about everything, right? From his endorsement of Joe Biden to his like Medicare plan, but it was Bernie's, the state of his like nail beds that really took the cake in the live. Let's take a look.
Uncle Bernie, how you doing?
I'm good, Cardi. I want you to take a look at my nails. How are they looking?
They're looking very quarantined. I could tell you've been on quarantine for a while now with your nails, but you know what? It's okay, Uncle Bernie.
Okay.
I love this friendship.
It's like an unlikely friendship that is formed, and I'm here for it. And they're so cute. And I don't know. I love, Cardi has a lot of fans.
Yeah.
And her just like commitment to like learning the political landscape and just like informing herself constantly is so, it's like inspiring, really.
No, I mean, and she's been very vocal about her support for Bernie the last couple months, but also just politics in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like at first, because it's Cardi B, and she doesn't lose the Cardiness, right? When she's talking about anything, really. And so I feel like people were quick to kind of like snap judge. It's like, why are we listening to Cardi B? But at some point, and I can't even tell you when, I'm like, she's speaking some truth. And I'm like listening, you know, like I'm actually like engaged with her. And I'm like, we respect it. I think ET even asked her once, like whether or not she would ever consider like a political run. I think she said no, but more than anything, I just love that she's kind of like, she's speaking, I feel like she's speaking how I feel about things, except it's like way more direct. And I'm just like, you better preach. Like, I feel like she's taking me to church.
Yeah, she like puts things into a certain perspective where you're like, oh yes, like thank you for articulating how I'm feeling, Cardi B. Like it's so interesting.
And just also Bernie though, like getting in on it. Like the first question for her is like, hey, what do you think of my nails?
Which, I mean, the struggle is real. I had to pry off all mine, but I think I found a solution here. We're doing a press-on game. They don't look good in real life, but through Zoom, I think they look pretty good.
Wait, what is that? Did you just like natural nails?
They're like just press-on nails that I filed down and painted. And
you are surviving and thriving because
I've gotten very crafty.
So many people I've talked to, so many women, I should say, who do their nails. They're like, I can't show my hands. I miss getting my nails done. Like that's the luxury that they miss. But you figured out the life hack here in quarantine.
I talk with my hands, so I had to find something.
I was like, did you put these on just for etlive at home, knowing we're going to talk about Cardi B and Bernie's nails?
No, but I did want to impress Cardi and Bernie. So
you did. You impressed me. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about couples, even single people, like in quarantine, because obviously, and I'm one. You moved in with your boyfriend. My boyfriend moved in with me just for quarantine, like just literally since we've all been like social distancing and self-isolated. And so it's been an adjustment, right? And we've been talking a lot about that, but I feel like what we haven't touched on are couples who actually aren't spending this time together, who are maybe long distancing during quarantine. And that's something you have some perspective on because you just talked to Rosario Dawson who's doing it.
Yeah, and it's something that you and I were chatting about before is just how now that we're talking to these celebrities in our homes and we're in our homes, like the whole like guard that comes with interviews is just gone.
Absolutely.
And everybody is just very like open and just like, yeah, I'm hanging out in my house and here's what I'm doing. Like she got up a few times to like go switch things up and do things, and it was just like I felt like I was like hanging out with her in her house. Yeah, it was so real. But you know, like a lot of times we talk with celebrities who aren't as open to talking about their personal lives, and that's totally fine. And like we hit that wall and we're like, okay, not doing that. It's kind of like, it was just very refreshing how open she is about her relationship with Cory Booker. And they are not spending quarantine together because she is with her family and he is doing the stimulus stuff in
Washington.
DC.
Yeah.
But I was talking to her because me and my boyfriend were long distance for a long time, and we had to find all these like tips and tricks to stay connected and, you know, keep our relationship strong. And we were just talking about it. I was like, I have like suggestions for you.
We're so many thousands of miles apart. It's so challenging. And then we're in April and we were supposed to have our longest vacation ever, you know, just time period together because he's been, you know, campaigning the whole year. I mean, and that was just only a couple months into our dating. So we've not really had a really good chunk of time together because of our work and our family and all of the other things. So it ended up being what was supposed to be our longest time together, now our longest period apart from each other. So that's definitely been really challenging. But we've been, you know, watching Briar Patch and kind of catching up with each other on it and different shows. Otherwise, we're reading to each other. We're try to cook together, you know, what a lot of people are doing is kind of estranged from each other right now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of couples are in this situation. Like I was, you know, long distance with my boyfriend for 2 years. We finally lived together. But my favorite thing to do is we would start a movie at the same time and watch it on FaceTime together. Have you been doing that?
You find, yes, very creative things. We've been talking about, like, yeah, we're picking the next show after Briar Patch is done.
That's kind of amazing. And also, like, just because just imagining, I also feel like you were ahead of the time. Like, everyone now is doing, like, Netflix party and stuff, but, like, you literally would have, like, your phone and your laptop up so you guys could, like, actually interact at the same time. Is it something that was driving her crazy? Like, does she miss Corey?
Yeah, because she said that they've been long distance for a while. Like, you know, he was obviously like running for president. She was shooting whatever she's shooting. She's constantly has something in the works. And they were planning on having this like big long summer vacation together and then closing the gap at some point soon. And it looks like that's all getting kind of pushed to the side. So I think she was a little bit like, ugh, like we were about to have like all this time together that just got like taken away.
Well, help all those couples out there who are social distancing without their partner. What were the tips you laid down for her? Were a couple like some tips and advice for people who are, you know, long distance?
Gosh, I would say the FaceTime thing is like was super strong for us. Like you can text all day, but it's like having that connection and just like hanging out together. Like if you play video games, we would literally like set up FaceTime, both play our own video game, but just like hang out and talk to each other. So it wasn't like we had this time where we had to like sit there and talk and then the conversation would end 10 minutes later. It's like we would hang out for hours. And like obviously if you have Wi-Fi, that doesn't cut into your plan. You can just FaceTime through Wi-Fi. So that's a really important one. That and just kind of like coordinating your day together in a weird way.
Yeah.
And connecting constantly.
So how has the adjustment been, if you don't mind me asking?
No.
Fast forward to now where obviously you guys do live together and you lived together before we were all quarantining, but now there's like, you're stuck at home essentially. There's nowhere else to go. How's that going for you?
Well, we live in a 1-bedroom apartment. So it's not like we have these separate rooms to really hang out in. It's like the bed and the couch and that's it. And the hardest adjustment I think has just been like, you and I were at work for over 10 hours a day.
Yeah, on average.
I was barely home. Like I came home for dinner and sleeping and that's really it. So now we've gone from like a few hours together a day to 24/7. So it's just kind of like, for us, it's just been adjusting like how to navigate each other's because it's hard to bring your work brain into your home brain.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like,
and then to switch it off too.
Yes. And where's the line of like, where do I switch off my work mind and go back into my home life mind? Because my home was like, I left work at work, I came home and home is home. And now they're both in the same location. So you just got to manage your own stress, really.
Really. And you have to take it one day at a time. I feel like at the beginning of this, we didn't know how long we would actually have to be at home. And so I feel like, okay, these little things are bothering me, whatever, I'm gonna let it go. But then now that week 5, when we got until about the mid-May to stay at home, now I'm like, okay, no, we got to figure this out. And I think it's just like, it's so funny. I feel like it takes a little bit of compromise, but also like speaking up and communicating about like what's bothering you, because you're right. This 800 square foot space is not big enough. Like there's only so many places you can go, you know? So I've also been focusing on my bedroom. I've been turning it into a sanctuary, and that has been the best project. I'm having so much fun like designing it, and then it's something that he's helping me with too now, so it's becoming his space too, while the living room is still my studio, you know, the home studio, because you know I'm still shooting videos for but it's been such a weird time, but also as weird as it is, I keep saying it's special because it's like helping you figure that stuff out now.
Well, I think having an open dialogue with your partner is the most important thing. If you can talk about anything, no matter how awkward or weird it is, like we have to even establish like rules, not really rules, but it's like whoever cooks, the other person's doing the dishes. And always do like use a dish, clean the dish, like that kind of stuff that we just never had to like deal with before because it's such tight quarters and everything gets messy so fast. And
if you can't agree on what shows to watch, just buy a second TV. That's what I did.
oh my gosh. I should show you.
Can you?
Will have some. Yes, I can.
Yeah, do it.
So we have brought out my TV from the bedroom and put it here.
Yeah.
And then we have the main TV so that we can both play video games at the same time. And like the other person doesn't have to like watch the other person play video games.
Is it separate video games you guys are playing?
Yeah.
I
yeah. Like
love
I'll
it.
play like Animal Crossing and he'll be playing like Call of Duty, or sometimes we play the same game.
Yesterday we were talking about this viral video of this family from Washington. It's the Heller family. It's a family of 6 who, to preoccupy themselves, they actually recreated Journey's 1983 video Separate Ways. Well, little did you know, we actually got to talk to them via video conferencing about that epic viral video. And here's what they had to say.
I just thought it would be fun to redo like a music video.
It was funny because our son Jackson, we only, I think, got him to do it because he said, nobody's really going to see this, right? And I said, no.
I probably watched 100 different videos, mostly in the 80s because their videos are a little simpler.
It's been crazy. Yeah, people we haven't heard from in years. It was like, we saw you, it was awesome. It's been a cool way to reconnect with some people, yeah. I think if the goal is just, find creative ways to do something. I mean, video is not for everybody. I think we have a unique opportunity now because we're forced to be together more than ever. Find something that you can all do together. And we kind of got lucky.
It's something that we'll be able to look back on year after year after year. And like their kids, they'll be able to show, look what we did with our parents, during this really weird time in history.
We put this one thing out there, this crazy thing happened with it. And if that's all that comes of it, like that's totally fine. We haven't heard from Steve Perry yet.
Dude, all I'm saying is like people, families, celebrities, everyone, they're getting creative. And I'm just I need to recreate a music video over here because I'm starting to get a little bored. I'm on Netflix all the time.
It's a scary time. It's an anxious time. I don't want to take away from that, but it's also this like wave of content that is so great. Like TikTok is thriving right now, and the recreations. I myself, I know I know I've been mentioned on etlive at home as a star. I'm famous, mom. But I've been recreating Jim Carrey videos. So like, I don't know why, but I'm like, the people need me.
the what's impressive, and not just Jim Carrey videos, but like from Liar Liar, right?
Yeah,
like,
my favorite movie. My contributions to society are so sad.
Wait, what did you say?
I just like contributions. Like I'm like, I got to give back. How do I give back? I'm just gonna recreate Liar Liar. People will love it. It'll cure everything.
It's taking me to see wrestling. Fletcher.
Audrey.
Well, why do you have to take him to see that stuff? It's very violent.
The boy must grow to be a warrior. Who better to guide him than Rick Rude and Randy Macho Man Savage in the cage of death?
There's a need for it, like you just said, like the wave of content, people are paying attention. I have never cared more in my life about what people are eating. In the past, I'm like, I don't care what you're, cool, you cooked bread, good job. But now I'm like, ooh, impressive, like you did that in this time. I think people need it, and you're one to talk because those Liar Liar lip dubs that you've been doing have gone viral. Like the people are actually watching and engaging with them. Are you tripping out on that?
Kind of, because I posted them on TikTok without having a TikTok prior. So now that they've like gotten a lot of views at this point, the comments are just so funny because these people don't know who I am and they're just like what the hell is this girl doing?
But you're so good at them. And his lines in Liar Liar, because it's Jim Carrey, they're a mile a minute. And you're talking, you remember every word and you literally are matching it with him. I'm impressed, girl. I want to talk about what music or what artists are you discovering or like listening to for the first time in quarantine? Because again, we have the time. Like I know a lot of people are watching movies they never watched before, hopping on bandwagons when it comes to TV shows that are popular. But now let's talk about music. What are you listening to?
Danny, you're gonna flip. You're gonna flip. I have been studying BTS.
Oh my God. Sound the alarms. Finally.
Let me tell you. Okay, I know if the Army is watching this, hello, I am joining you now. So bear with me while I say like very basic things from like the beginning of your fanship. But I started watching I was watching one of their videos because they're very like colorful and fun to watch. But I was like, man, their dance moves are so good. And then I got so invested in all their choreo. So I started watching all their live performances, which I don't understand. no one misses a beat. There's not a second. There's not a flaw.
Yeah.
They kill it every time.
Exactly.
And so I just went down this huge YouTube wormhole, and I was like, I'm gonna learn all their names. I'm gonna pick a favorite. And I think I've nailed it. Like, you show me a video, I'm like, boom.
Which that's not always easy.
Sugar, Jungkook, Jimin. Like, I got it.
I love it.
Got it.
I love that you're embracing them because they are insane. Like, obviously, I was only introduced to them at the very beginning because I was about to interview them, like for their first like big US interview, and I literally easily became a stan. The Army's amazing, and you talk about their live performances. When I finally got to see them live, because I think I interviewed them twice before I actually got to see them in concert, I was like, oh no, they're like actually talented.
Yeah.
They could sing and dance at the same time, and they each got their own vibe, but together, oh my God, it is wild.
I actually watched your interview again that you did with them because I was trying to show, like, we were very curious about what their actual their personalities are, because you really get that from their videos. And I was like, oh, like, I think like J-Hope is like goofy and like RM does a lot of the talking because he
speaks the most English.
Yeah. But like, I was like, so you'll probably like connect with RM at first, but like then, you know, you kind of get like J-Hope is just such a goofball, I think.
Oh my God.
I don't know, I'm still learning. But
no, even some of the quiet ones, those are the ones I fell in love with. My favorite now, my bias, as the fans call it, is Jimin. Like Jimin's like, first of all, he's one of the lead vocals, amazing, but also he's got this like sweet demeanor, and he got to really shine during James Corden's Carpool Karaoke. If you guys haven't watched it, do it. But it sounds like you really did fall down a BTS rabbit hole.
Oh, I think Jin is quite handsome.
Yes, and Jungkook's handsome too. But I just have to say, welcome to the Army.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm gonna watch the documentary because I have not, and you just told me about it, and I didn't even know it existed. And then my other one, I have to mention Dua Lipa's new album because I can't stop listening to it. It is one of the best albums like that I've heard in a long time. Probably like Ariana's Thank You Next album.
Ooh, that is really a solid comparison. Yeah, no. And I'm thankful because I know it had leaked, which I didn't listen to it until she released it, but then she was
I didn't either. I was trying to respect.
Gotta respect the art, you know? And plus I want to hear like the actual studio recording. But she even said that she almost debated not putting it out. Thank God she did. She even released it earlier than expected. And I still remember that weekend. I'm still bumping it from the day she actually dropped the album, and it is a bop. Grammys 2021, watch out. Like, it's going to be fire. I've been listening to that on repeat, and also listening and educating myself on Tame Impala. You know Tame Impala?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Psychedelic rock band. I listened to them at Coachella because I'm there with friends who listen to them, but I'm like going through their discography. People have been sleeping on them, okay? They're amazing.
No, I feel like they have a very like niche fan base, and they have like a lot of fans, but you know, mainstream, it's just not there yet. So, but every time I hear a Tame Impala song, I'm like, that's Tame Impala. Like, you just
exactly. It's a very specific sound, and I'm so glad they exist. Seriously. So BTS, Tame Impala, Dua Lipa. What are you guys listening to? Let us know. But let's get into video games. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a gamer. I have an Xbox One. Never played a game on it. That's literally how I watch my TV. But the game everyone's talking about is Animal Crossing, which I'm realizing is actually like just the latest version of this existing franchise, right?
So it was a game, I don't know if you have the year handy, but
2002.
2002.
Yeah.
I played it on GameCube, and then they did like a mobile game like a year or two ago that was like kind of similar, but it was like it was satiating for the fans. But then they just released like a brand new version of this game that is completely like updated and wonderful, and I've played like 180 hours of it so far.
It's taken over your life.
I don't like that Nintendo Switch tells you your hours, and it also tells everyone you're friends with the amount you've played. So it'll be like, Ash Crossan, 180 plus hours of Animal Crossing. And I'm like, don't call me out.
But you're not alone. Everyone is playing this game. It's so much, in fact, that like literally it's hard to find a Nintendo Switch now. It's getting harder to find than hand sanitizer and like Clorox wipes. Like those are flying off the shelves. So what is it for those of us like me who don't know what Animal Crossing is? How do you play? And like, why are people obsessed with it?
Okay, I'm going to preface this when I describe it. You're going to be like, why does anyone play this? Because it's going to sound very boring, but it's not. So you are a human that lives on this deserted island with like a couple of animals, and there's this guy, Tom Nook, and well, he's not a guy.
He's a raccoon. Yeah.
And he's like, here's your house. You owe me 60,000 bells, which is the currency.
Yeah.
So you have to do things to like pay back your loan. So you'll like fish and catch bugs and get some fruit and sell it at the store, and then you'll get bells, and then you eventually pay them back. But it's all in real time.
Okay.
So once you pay back, then the next day your house expands, and then you get like a new store that comes along, and then like, oh, you got to build this campsite. And there's also like a museum, and you want to like fill the museum with all the fish and bugs and fossils.
Yeah.
But like every day I want to log on because the night before or the day before I've done something that will be updated the next day. So I'm like, oh, I gotta log on and see my new like museum and where I put it and all this stuff. So yeah, it's hard to explain without it sounding so snoozy.
No.
But I would describe it as like, look, we all feel very anxious right now. It is just like a video game Xanax, I guess.
Yeah, it's calming your anxiety.
Imagine that's it's very calming, very soothing. If you like The Sims and you play The Sims, like this, if you like to spend most of your time on The Sims building the house and doing like the build mode stuff, it's essentially what this game is.
Honestly, even if I wanted to play, I couldn't. Like I went to Target yesterday for the first time in quarantine, and there's a sign that says we're out of sanitizing wipes and Nintendo Switch. Like it's just there's no way I'm gonna be able to play it.
I talked our own Katie Krause into getting Animal Crossing, and I think she got like one of the last ones because we were like looking at all the Targets and which ones you could pick up. You couldn't even get the regular Switch. You had to get the Nintendo Switch Lite, which is still great. You just can't play it on your TV. It's a little different.
Dude,
but
business is booming for Nintendo Switch, hair clippers, flour apparently because everyone's baking.
The baking aisle at the grocery store, I'm like.
Oh, and of course paper towels and toilet paper, but that's for a different ET Live at Home. That's for a different episode and a different show. Until then, Ash, I miss you so much.
I'm so glad. I'm glad we still get to do this. Catching up, I love it.
I know, right? I'm like, we could talk all day, guys. So we'll do that offline. But thank you so much for joining us, and thank you guys for watching. Reminder, we are still pumping out content over at etonline.com, including Ash Crossan's interview with Rosario Dawson. She also spilled some Star Wars tea, so make sure you guys go check it out then, and also follow Ash on TikTok, because if you need some entertainment, some quality content, there it is right there for you.
Wow, follow Denny. Gosh.
What a plug. I loved it. All right, I'll see you next time, Ash, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.